MF and OTAs.
OTAs, yeah, organized team activities. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, voluntary.
Voluntary. Look, voluntary. We know voluntary.
Welcome to Six Rings and Counting. I'm your host, Corey Idle. And joining me, as always, the man Omar Khan calls his spiritual advisor, Mr. Lou Willard. Lou, how we doing?
Better than I deserve, my friend. Better than I deserve.
We're not going to get into that. That's for your priest, not for me. Today's topic, super important. This is the most important. You can have free agency. You can have your draft. I'll even give you the regular season and the playoffs. What I want to see is some MF and OTAs.
OTAs, yeah, organized team activities. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, voluntary.
Voluntary. Look, voluntary. We know voluntary. Like the old voluntary workouts in high school.
That's it.
Yeah, or college. You want to play? Yeah, I want to be on the field. Yeah, we got OTAs. No, that's voluntary. Yeah, okay.
Most of my high school career was considered voluntary, to be honest with you.
At least you went to class.
Moving on from that and disappointing my parents any further, explain to us exactly what are we looking for when we get to OTAs? Because like we said, it is voluntary. Uh-huh. It's not super serious. You're not padded up. You got a helmet on and you're in shorts. You got your jersey. What are you looking to see here?
As much as we joke about OTAs and everyone does, it really is. It's a crucial time for the rookies and free agents who your new free agent signees. Mm-hmm. Like in our case, when we say our because we are a Steelers show, this is Russell Wilson's, Justin Fields, Scotty Miller, Van Jefferson, those three new offensive linemen, all their first in the entire. If you're an offensive player on the Steelers, this is your first time seeing the playbook live. They've all had the playbook since they hired Smith. He's emailed everybody the playbook. Sure. But these guys that just came on board, they didn't get it back when he got hired. That means Russell Wilson and Justin Fields didn't have it either. So this is a really crucial time for them. And they still do, even though it's not pads, you still go ones on ones. So the defense isn't taking it easy on them while they're learning the offense. They're going to blow them up every time if they can, because no one's going to take it easy on them on Sundays.
Right.
So this is a really crucial time for them, and it's really, really, really a crucial time for rookies. They had the rookie mini camp, but they were the only ones there, and a select few veterans show up. Mm-hmm. But during this time, everybody's there on a voluntary basis. I think the Steelers are missing three. Obviously, the elephant that's not in the room is Cam Hayward. Yep. We could talk about that here shortly or maybe down the road. But there's two other guys, but no one can announce who they are because it's voluntary.
Right.
So unless the guys say, I'm not there, the team can't report it, the media can't report it. And if you're at the practice, you know who it is because they're clearly not there.
Sure.
But it's a very important time to get stuff going, get in sync, get around the guys again, get back in the locker room at the facility, and actually get a little bit of football played, even though it's just helmets and no one's going to get hit, which you don't want them getting hit this early anyway. Right. But it's still a really good situation to be in.
So one of the things that I've heard, my sources tell me, my sources run deep in Pittsburgh.
Well, we know that.
So what I'm being told is they started out Troy Fatnow and Frazier on second team.
Yep.
Normal for the Steelers, right? They let their rookies kind of earn their way up. Even if they are going to be expected to start, be big, impactful players, they're still going to earn their way up in these early days. And
they actually started Troy, not to cut you off, they started him at right guard. As he's a second string right guard behind Jones. So I think that's where you were getting ready to go.
Yeah, they had him to start off with at right tackle.
Yeah, right tackle, yeah.
For the first day behind Jones, they kept Dan Moore over at left tackle. By day 4, they moved Broderick back over to left. Troy's at right. Frazier still playing with the second team guys.
Yeah.
Not a big deal, nothing to get concerned about. But do you see that progression as a positive sign, or is that just Mike and the guys just kind of playing with personnel and seeing who fits where?
I think it's a combination of the two. You're actually right on both counts. Number one, it's definitely a positive sign. And if you know, when they drafted Troy, I'll call him by his first name because I don't want to keep butchering the young man's last name. But when they drafted him, they clearly drafted him to play right tackle.
Yeah.
But they got to find out if he can play. So you just don't move Broderick Jones right out the gate and let the kid go over there and sink or swim because it's going against Watt and Highsmith. This is iron sharpens iron. Yep. Sure, he can block him, but does he know the play?
Right.
He also has to know the plays. So they got to make sure he's capable of learning Arthur Smith's offense, which is going to be a physical offense. They've already come out. They've told the world. Anybody that listens knows what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. So once they see he can get acclimated to the right side, they'll get Broderick over to the left side, and Dan Moore is going to be a backup. And that's the plan. And as far as Frazier goes at the center position, he has to call all the protections. Mm-hmm. There's no way the kid can call, and they say he's brilliant, but there's no way he can call them all right now.
Right.
So he has to learn it. I mean, you're only a week into this thing, a rookie mini camp where no one was there and where he just gets to see the stuff the first time. But this is his first time really getting acclimated with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. You know, if they're yelling something at him and he's got to change it, he's just now learning that. So it's no surprise this early in the game. Now, if he's still backing up the first week of preseason, that's not a good sign.
Right.
Because he's supposed to be starting in training camp. Notice I skipped training camp because he's supposed to be starting into July. He's supposed to be running out with the ones. He wasn't drafted to be a backup. He was drafted to be a starter.
Let me ask you this. Moving off of Frazier for a second.
Uh-huh.
Spencer Anderson. He was a tackle for us last year.
Uh-huh.
Played very well, given the circumstances. Filled in where he needed to. They've moved him to the interior now. He's been training with the guards.
Yeah.
In OTAs, when you see a move like that, where a guy has played tackle his whole career, he's been a starter at times, now they're moving over to a position. Are we again just looking at personnel situations, or is this maybe a permanent change? Because
this will probably be a permanent change because no one's planning on the first round draft pick to fail.
Right.
So he's going to start at right tackle. Broderick starting at left tackle. The centers, Frazier's going to start at center. Mm-hmm. You already have Suamalu, or however you say his name, too. He's a beast. And you got the great James Daniels playing guard as well. There's your line. What we need are capable backups. And Pittsburgh has always been a team where if you back up the guards, you back up both guards. Mm-hmm. Like Dan Moore's going to have to back up both tackles. And they'll have, because that's already given you 7 offensive linemen. You only get to carry so many players.
Right.
So most teams are, you can only carry so many linemen. So they'll probably keep another, the backup center will be there. Mm-hmm. There's 8. How many more are they keeping? You know, you can sign them off the practice squad if someone gets hurt, but no one's planning for injuries because they're going to happen, but you just hope it's not you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what they're going to do is get him from the outside to the inside. Now, by doing that and putting Troy at the tackle, you have technically 4 tackles because he played it last year.
Right.
I mean, he played the position. He didn't play this offense, but no one has. So they're all on the same footing as far as that's concerned. But he knows the tackle position. He backed it up last year. Now he can learn to back up the guards, and he counts as 2 people.
How difficult, I mean, I know you didn't play offensive line, but how difficult of a transition is that?
It all depends on this new offense. It's really different from the pass protection standpoint. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest difference. You're going against totally different people. But once you get to the NFL, you can block. You know, you just have to learn what's his kick step like when he was at a tackle. Obviously, if it was that great, he'd probably been starting and they wouldn't have drafted one.
Right.
So he probably needs a little work there. Or maybe he was a little slow. Maybe they do stuff like this. How far is his reach? You got to have a pretty decent reach in the NFL to play tackle. Mm-hmm. Your arm length has to be good. If your arms are short, you're probably going to play guard. You know, all that stuff works into that for him. And with this run-based offense play action scheme, it's going to be a lot of downhill blocking. So as far as that stuff goes for all of them, I'm sure they're going to love it. But the tackle's been playing tackles in this is a new era of football. Since these guys have been playing tackle, I guarantee you they've been playing on teams that throw the ball.
Yeah.
You know, Georgia doesn't throw it a lot, but they throw it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they also can get physical, and that's where these teams come from. But like Troy come out of Washington, all they did was chunk it around. So if he needs work anywhere, they'll probably have to work on him with this being the road grader and going downhill and getting on some linebackers and stuff like that because he's more accustomed to dropping back, just what offense you came out of.
Okay. Moving off of offensive line, because I know our viewers love offensive line talk, but we are going to have to move off of it.
But these viewers do. This is Pittsburgh, baby.
They know. Real ones know. Talking about the quarterbacks. Justin Fields showed up for the OTAs. For all intents and purposes, it sounds like he was not made aware that Russell Wilson has been given the starting quarterback position. They say he is playing lights out right now. Again, it's OTAs. There's no pads. You don't have guys even coming close to hitting you.
Are we talking Russell?
We're talking about Justin.
Okay.
So with that, does Justin Fields actually have a chance to win the job through training camp and OTAs, or is it Russ's job basically to lose? Like, does Russ have to completely disintegrate?
He'd have to fall apart. They signed Russell Wilson to start. You know, they got Justin Fields as a huge bonus that they were hoping to get, and that Justin Fields was hoping that the Bears GM, who said he would trade him to his team he wanted to go to, kept his word. And the guy kept his word, and he has high praise for him. But this is the difference. As they're going in there, this is why Kenny Pickett isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Because remember when Kenny Pickett set those, 3 games last year when he was hurt or whatever it was, and they said, well, are you learning anything from, watching it? No, I'm not learning anything from practice or the games or watching over here watching. I'm not learning from watching. Wait a minute. What? That's like watching Tom Brady play as his backup and going, no, I'm not learning anything.
Right.
Better example. That's like Jordan Love sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years saying he's not watching and learning anything. Clearly you are, because look at you now. And there's a little bit of Aaron in his game. You know what I mean? And this kid I know it was Mason Rudolph and whoever the hell else it was last year, but Mason Rudolph played really well to the point where he led them to the playoffs.
Right.
And he did not embarrass himself in that game. You couldn't learn nothing. You couldn't sit there and learn. You couldn't learn a thing. Justin Fields is coming out saying, first off, I didn't come here to be the backup. I came here to play. But we are where we are right now. I'm going to push him every day, just like he's pushing me to be better. I'm pushing him to be better because I want to start. I don't plan to hold the clipboard for 17 games. He said, I'll do whatever this team needs me to do, but I don't plan to hold this clipboard for 17 games.
Right.
So if I'm pushing him like that and he's still holding his spot, then this team's in a great position because he has to be playing really well because I'm going to push him because I want to start. I won't be a disruption, but I do want to start.
I would like to go on the record right now as saying, Russ, I will hold your clipboard for 17 games. Yeah, I have no problem doing that.
With that check, come on. Give me the league minimum.
Yeah, you can give me half.
League
I'm
minimum.
Good.
I need free lunch, though. I do need free lunch. Yeah. We have a training table.
I guarantee you I won't use the weight room either.
And then along that, what they're talking about, the athleticism of the players, the question came up, will Justin Fields play special teams with the new special teams rules? And he said they just misunderstood it. They took it out of context. Yeah. They were just saying that we can stick any athlete that we got back there and you can get whatever. Why would you go get Cordell Patterson and then stick Justin Fields back there? Why would you stick your future starting quarterback back there to return kicks and punts?
Okay, since you brought it up, I'm going to go off a little bit here. This point in time in the NFL season is the worst. The amount of people making up stories right now because there is no big salacious news no big trades are happening anymore. The free agents, the big names anyway, have already been signed.
Until June 1st. Well, we might get a little something June 1st. That's when the delayed stuff can happen, but we'll see.
Now, I swear it's like the Steelers' second receiver is going to be a Martian named Fleep Flop from the Quasar Galaxy, and he's going to just light the world on fire if we can get the right draft picks involved in the trade. I'm so sick of this point in time in the season. It drives me crazy.
Like the story about how about Caleb Williams for the Bears getting benched because he never completed one pass in 7 and 7s and threw 7 straight interceptions.
Yep.
I mean, okay. Never mind. Go ahead with your point. That's how ridiculous this stuff is. It's ridiculous. But nonetheless, he just said that's a silly story. They're just using examples. The coach was making an example. He is Pittsburgh's future quarterback, whether it's this year, even if it's not next year, and Russ balls out and plays again next year. They just re-signed Justin. You can tag him if you want to. You can do whatever you want. He can't go anywhere unless they want him to. No. Even though they didn't claim his fifth-year option, he wants to be there. They want him there.
Putting your backup quarterback. After watching what the Jets went through last year when Aaron Rodgers went down, game one, putting your backup quarterback as a kick returner or as a gunner or anything on special teams is a Browns move. This is Pittsburgh. Yeah. Stop fudging around. We're done with this.
Yeah, I was going to use that Browns as an example too. They started 5 different quarterbacks last year.
Yeah.
And to their credit, they made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But you didn't see them running backup quarterbacks out there to play special teams. If you have a good one, keep him safe because you may need him.
Sooner than you think.
You may need him sooner than you think.
It's just, I can't stand this time of year. Cannot stand it.
Well, he doesn't plan on holding that clipboard. He's pushing. They say he looks good. They say Russell Wilson looks really good as well. Mm-hmm. But as we, ain't nobody hitting.
Right.
And that's all kinds of proper English, but ain't nobody hitting. Until the Bullets get live, we'll see what happens. But the thing I do hear, the one thing that was encouraging is when they did go into the team situations, this sounds very, very basic when it comes to football. They were in and out of huddle quick. It sounds silly to say, well, they should be they're pros. No, it's a bunch of new pieces, and it's a completely new offense.
Yep.
That tells me that at least they're studying and learning what he's given them to this point. And when you break in the huddle, the quarterback doesn't have to take time to tell you what to do because you know your responsibility.
That's true, but if I could play devil's advocate very quickly, it's an Arthur Smith playbook, so everybody knows it's a play action to the backup tight end.
Starting tight end because he loves Freiermuth. says to be.
Yeah, but he loved Kyle Pitts too. Jonnu Smith, damn Pro Bowler. Come on.
He was.
Come on now.
He was. But that is a good point though. And I see what you're saying, but at least they're absorbing what he's giving them, and they're not having to run the play clock down because the left guard or the right guard or the second wide receiver don't know what the hell's going on, so they don't have to because they're not stopping. The play's going to go. They'll get him after the play, but they're not just going to keep stopping practice. So at least they're in and out of huddle, getting stuff going, and a lot of that credit is to the quarterback too. They have 2 smart quarterbacks. That's why the center position is the way it is right now. Frazier's still the backup. Let him learn.
Yep.
But he'll get up there.
So outside of bringing in one of the wide receivers from the Key and Peele sketches.
Jack Mary's Tech Theratrix.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it because it was just going to sound horrible coming out of my mouth. But outside of bringing in one of these guys, that seems to be the gaping hole, the question mark for this Steelers offense. And really the Steelers team overall is this second wide receiver position. That's what everybody seems to be focused on. And again, the rumors about Ayuk and Debo and this big splash trade, I don't see happening at this point.
Are done. I think it's too late for it.
I think we can make a trade for a receiver. I just don't think it's going to be that big a guy. I think you're going to see either Roman Wilson or Calvin Austin or Van Jefferson have to just step it up.
I think you're going to, I've been on here screaming from the mountaintop. My guy's Calvin Austin.
Yep.
But the young man got to help me out too and stay healthy. And then they're saying this Roman Wilson is pushing hard for the 2 spot already.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, the offense isn't going to be overly complicated because they want them playing fast. If you're out there thinking, thinking slows you down on the football field. I don't care what you're doing, thinking slows you down. Get going. And so I think those might be your top 3. Van Jefferson, I think, will start out as the 2. Mm-hmm. Maybe fall to the 3 till one of the young guys prove they can outwork him, or outplay him, not outwork him, but outplay him. But he's going to have to learn. He's going to be the guy that has to learn more than one position.
Right.
George Pickens only has to learn the 1. He's a clear 1 on this team.
Yep.
Clear 1. It's that number 2 spot. So those 3 guys are going to have to learn those second and third wide receiver positions.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not going to be a ton of pressure on him because Russ loves the tight end. Pittsburgh has a team full of them. They have a really good one in his final year of the contract. Keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So watch how he plays. And now he has a quarterback that actually likes to throw him the ball. They say he's his favorite target. And the little stuff goes unnoticed, you know, in this time of year too. Russ invited them all out to San Diego to work out.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he developed his relationship with Freiermuth. You know what I mean? Some guys don't go on those trips. No. I don't care what they tell you, that matters. Your job is to be you're a professional football player.
Mm-hmm.
You play football. The quarterback wants you out here to work out, sort of a family vacation or you being a 10-year veteran. But if he's new and wants you to come out there, man, go out there and work out for a couple of weeks. Get to know him. Run, you know, and that's what they've done. So they're gelling pretty good. You know, they're gelling pretty good. So we'll see. But it's like I say, it's way early. You're still hoping nobody pulls a hamstring.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's way early, but they seem to be on track.
Okay, real quick, 2 minutes answer here. Robert Woods, Michael Thomas. Either of those names ring any kind of excitement for you, or is that just you'd rather go with what we got?
No, I mean, Michael Thomas, you know, love him, Buckeye. No bad words about him. He was a beast.
Yeah.
But does he still want to play?
Right.
Or does he just want the 4 to 5 or the 5 to 6 million a year? That's the biggest question I would have. Robert was the same thing. You know, I'd rather go young and let him work it out. And then if you can't, you get somebody by the trade deadline.
And as we wrap this up, I want to let everybody know when you're talking about a Michael or Brandon Ayuk or one of these big players, Nico Collins just signed a couple weeks ago a $24 million contract.
Yeah.
So before you get these names, remember how much you're going to have to pay him on top of everybody else next year. And with that, for Lou Willard, I'm Corey Idle. This was Six Rings and Counting. See you next time.